Hi everybody, Jane here, and I am reviewing A Different Kind of Christmas by Alex Haley. Um, and let's start with what it's about, I guess. It is about a gentleman named Fletcher Randall, and he is in college. Now, this is pre-Civil War, and he's in a college in the North, even though he is the son of a wealthy plantation owner in the South. And the book starts off with him asking to be moved to a new dormitory. He's been having some issues with the people in his current dormitory. The Northerners tease him because of being a Southerner, and he doesn't really care for the other Southern boys because he kind of finds them redneckish. I mean, that's the best way I can explain it. Um, they're there to party, and he's there to learn. So Fletcher is moved to this new dorm, and he ends up meeting three brothers, who are Quakers. And initially, he's a little hesitant to start a friendship with them because he knows that Quakers are anti-slavery, but he does eventually warm to them, and they don't really discuss the slavery topic at all. So they become friends, and these boys ask him to come home with them for a weekend. They live in Pennsylvania. They want to show him around. And Fletcher's a fairly inquisitive guy. He's curious about other people and cultures, so he says, okay, yeah, sure, I'll go. So he goes home with them, and I feel like saying they trick him is kind of accurate, but maybe not. They take him to an Underground Railroad rally. And they also have him meet a black entrepreneur and some other things. So, like, they're not really pushing their agenda, but they're kind of pushing their agenda on him. And at first, he's really upset and disgusted by everything he sees and hears, and is just so mad that they tricked him. And so, like, he goes home and he doesn't, or goes back to the dorms and he doesn't talk to them again. But, like, all of this stuff that he sees weighs on his mind, and he goes back to Pennsylvania and connects with the people who are part of the Underground Railroad. And he basically says, I want to help. And they are working on creating an escape over Christmas while he's home at Christmas break. And they say, okay, you want to help? We got something for you to do. So the rest of the book after that, and I feel like if I tell too much more, we're going to get into spoiler territory, and I'm going to try not to spoil too much. But after that, it's basically whether or not he goes through with it and the process along the way. So this book was actually kind of hard for me to rate. I'm going to give it a 3, but it's like a 3.5, a high 3. I just couldn't justify a 4 in my own head, but it definitely was a really good read, and I really enjoyed it. And there were a lot of things that I really liked about it. It was entertaining, especially once he gets home for Christmas and all the stuff that happens. I really, really, really enjoyed that part of the book. The early part of the book I struggled with a little bit, and it's a really short book. I think it's like 100 pages total, and it's really not, it's not a long read. So I had a hard time with kind of the beginning of it, but once we got home, I really, really was invested and enjoyed it. I didn't love the end. I felt like it ended really abruptly. And I also felt like at the end I was kind of sitting there going, I'm not really sure what the point of this book is. I mean, it kind of reads like a fairy tale or a fable, but at the end I didn't feel that sense of satisfaction. Like I got the message. Like I just felt like, that's a very strange ending. Like it didn't end how I expected it to end, and it was just kind of too fast of an end for me. A couple other things that didn't really work for me. This was published in 1988, but I didn't know that, and I'd assumed it was like from the time. Like it was in the 1800s because of the language used to tell the story. And the language tripped me up a lot. I had a hard time because I don't read. I'm working on reading more classic language, and this is told in a very classics tone. So if you pick it up, you might also, not knowing it's from 1988, mistake the writing as being much older. Like I assumed this was classic from the era, and it was not. But it definitely, the language made it hard to read and had me confused at times. It definitely was a little hard to get through because of the way the story is written. So if you don't love classics, the feel of classics, this is probably not the book for you. Now, if you love classics, you might enjoy it even though it's a more modern book. Some of the other things that didn't, or one of the other things that didn't work. When Fletcher goes to the Underground Railroad rally and just his weekend with these boys, these Quaker boys, I didn't feel like the things that happened, at least as far as we're given, was enough that he should have suddenly been like, I'm going to give up everything I've been raised to believe to go join the Underground Railroad. I felt that it was like not enough. Like most people would have needed more of a push. And like they did kind of set him up as being a little bit different than other Southerners in the beginning, and they had him set up as being like a person who's curious and wants to learn and obviously an intellectual. But I felt like his conversion was really, really fast, and I had a hard time believing it, especially to the level of, not just, hey, I might donate some money to your cause okay, I'm going to go home and go against all these people I've known my entire life to save some slaves who, up until a week ago, I figured were not really human, because I've been raised that way. So I didn't really buy his conversion. But other than those things, I did enjoy the book. Like, that sounded like I shouldn't have enjoyed it, but it was a really good read. It's a nice Christmas tale of sacrifice and brotherhood, and it has that kind of a magic-y, Christmassy feel that, that brotherhood, that people are people. I mean, it was a really good book when it was good. There were things that didn't work for me, but overall, I really did enjoy it, and I do recommend it, especially if you like more of like the classics tone or a literary tone. I guess it could be them too. And if you're interested in this kind of story. So I did enjoy it. The end didn't work for me, and I wish I had ended a little differently because I feel like it would have been more impactful to me. But it was a good read. It was a good read, and I do recommend it. And it is also possible, because I don't read a lot of like literary and classic stuff, that I missed out on some stuff as far as like what the writer was trying to get across at the end. But like I said, overall a good read. Let me check my notes and see if there's anything else. But yeah, no, a high 3 for me, and I definitely recommend. Pick it up. And it's fairly short, and it's a nice little Christmas read. Alright guys, the social media and everything's on the bottom, as is the like and subscribe button. Have you read this? If so, give me a comment. Did you agree that the end was a little bit quick? Or did you like it? Do you feel like I just missed the point? And if you want to kind of give me, without spoiling, like what you feel like the point was if I missed it, that's cool too. If you also felt like maybe it could have ended differently or other things weren't working for you, I'd love to hear your comments and opinions about this book. All right, guys, see you next time. Bye.